Hey everybody, welcome to Mama's Backyard Garden. I am so glad that you are here with me and joining me on this new journey. Now, I'm old, so sometimes old folk and new technology don't go together well. So bear with me as I work toward bringing you all this great information so that you can have a wonderful garden starting in spring and summer. I am in Maryland Zone 7AB and I have been gardening since 2013. I have multiple ways in which I garden, which include in-ground raised beds. I have grow bags as well as green stalk grow towers. That allows me to expand my garden so that I can take the opportunity to experiment with new things and learn if it's something that I really want to waste my time with, or if it's a new veggie that I didn't know anything about and turns out to be absolutely marvelous. So come along with me as I help you grow, and you can have some wonderful veggies in your garden just like me. So come and go with me while we learn as we grow. Welcome back everybody, and welcome to my basement. This is where all the magic happens, right down here in this lovely little basement. And as you can see behind me, I already have some plants started for the spring. And I am so excited because it's very hard to get some of the plants that I grow. So when I have an opportunity to get them and they do well, I get very, very excited about it. So let's look and see what we have on the shelf. What we have here are some onions. As you can see quite well, they're onions. I'm hoping that I have enough light so that you can see that. But these are my onions. These are my Egyptian walking onions. And what's so special about these particular onions is that once you plant them, you have them. You will always have onions. And the trick to these is they will grow, and the bulbs will not grow on the bottom. They'll actually grow on the top of this onion. And as it gets heavy, that onion would lean over and it'll hit the dirt, and those roots will take root, and then it'll grow another plant. And you'll constantly have onions in the garden. So that's why they're called Egyptian walking onions, because they will walk the garden. Then you can also use every part of this. You can use the green part, you can use the root of this to cut up in food or to replant, and you can also use the bulbs that generate on top of these as well. And they smell so good, and they're so beautiful, and they're so strong. So I'm very interested and ready to put these out. And on this other side here, we have some cilantro here. It is very hard to grow cilantro because it doesn't like the hot weather. So this is the perfect time to grow it. And I have some here. I think I put 2 seeds, maybe 3 looks like, in each one of these holes. But after I get to a certain point, if I want to, I can split them out and put them in separate containers. And I didn't let it get enough light, so they look kind of leggy, but we're getting there. And as you go along and you're gardening, guys, when you fail, it's okay. I failed quite a bit, but I learn from my failures, and I make sure that when I try to do something else again, I'm on top of it, and I don't have to worry about that issue anymore. And here I have a few rosemary. They're tiny, but I've got some rosemary growing here. Hopefully, if all of these germinate, everything on this side will be rosemary. So this is one of the things that I've started to grow so I can get ready to put out in my garden for the spring. And some of the other things that you can get as well are your herbs. So I have a few herbs that have started here. All of them have not germinated well. But if you look at this one, this is some thyme here. And then we have these are garlic chives. So they're just like regular chives, but they have that garlic taste to them. And if you don't have a garlic clove, you can cut these up in salads and use them in your seasoning of your foods and soups. So these are really good, and they're perennial. They come back. All of these herbs that I'm showing you are perennial. The parsley, here's parsley here growing. We have some celery growing. Let's see, this is some Chinese pink celery. All of them haven't germinated, but you can see a few of them have come up. And then here's the Utah celery here. So pretty much, I'm so happy to see those. It takes a long time for celery to germinate. So when you have an opportunity to see that many seeds germinate, and I put these in on the 20th of December, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. I have been growing my celery for the last 3 years, and I used to A lot of it where I would freeze it and I can bring it out in the wintertime if I need to cook stews and stuff. I don't get that fresh flavor, but pretty much in the wintertime, I'm cooking a lot of my celery anyway, so it really doesn't matter. So one of the other things that I do when I'm here in the basement is that I start my seeds down here. Now, I have a lot of seed starting containers that I use depending on what I'm growing. So when you grow herbs, we want to overseed them because once they get to a certain height, then you can break those in half and split them up and put them out in different areas of the garden, and you can grow more herbs off of that one little bunch. And then, of course, you have the onions where you can put them in one place, and of course, they will continue to multiply on their own. But then we want to grow things like lettuce. We want to grow some things like some kale. We want to grow some nice brassicas, cabbage for the springtime. And we also want to try to get some flowers and stuff together. But there are different types of things that you can use when you're starting your seeds. And they're very simple things. So these are some seed starting trays that I bought from some of the distributors that I buy seeds from as well. These came from Haas. And these are pretty nice because you can put dirt in here and start your seeds, and then they can grow tall enough where it makes nice little plugs. There's holes on the bottom so you can stick your fingers through there and help pop it up when you get ready to take it out and transplant it out. So these are nice. They do come with the watering trays, and they have the covers. I didn't get the covers, but I do have the watering trays, so I like these. These are my green stock planters or seed starting trays. And they come in different colors. They have a nice little tray with a handle on it. And there's 4 of these to a pack. And they all sit on that one tray. They also come with watering trays. These are nice because they have air pruning in them. So as the plant grows, it actually gets the air to the roots and stops the roots from curling or crowding around in the bottom of the container. And they'll come out and be nice, strong roots so you can do these as well. Now these are kind of pricey, so you know, try to see if you can't get these, there are other options that you can use as well. Another option you can use that you already probably have are these. These are takeout containers from Chinese restaurants, and basically all you need to do with these is you put some holes in the bottom, and you can put some dirt in here, and then you can sprinkle your seeds in, put some holes in the top of this and put this on the top, and you have made a mini greenhouse that will help keep the heat in so that the seeds can germinate. And then and it'll have some air going in because you'll have some holes in the top. And then once they start germinating, you can take the top off and let them grow. Now this is good. I'm going to use this year when I get ready to plant my tomatoes and my peppers, because that way I can multi-seed. I can put multiple seeds in here. And then as the plants start germinating and getting to a certain height, I can pull them out and put them in bigger containers. Not only do I use the plants that I grow for myself, I actually provide those to the community at a discounted price or a donation if that's what they want to do. And all the money goes back into the garden to continue to do that again. So I want to try to help people learn how to be self-sufficient as well. But as you're learning how to seed your plants, this is one of the things that you can use, something that you already have in the house. So now that we know what type of pots that we can grow or start our seeds in, or containers, let's show you the type of soil that you will need in order to start your seeds. It's always good to have something that is very light and fluffy, because those little baby seeds, when they start sticking their hand up through the dirt, they don't want to have anything getting in their way. So the next thing you need to do is worry about the soil. Now, this is some soil that I had made prior to. This is my seed starting mix. And basically all this is some seed starting mix that I bought from the store. But what I did is that I sifted it. I put it through a sift to make sure I got all of the bulky and the woody pieces out. And this is what I got. And to make it even more fluffier, I added some cocoa coir. So this is cocoa coir. I buy these in the bricks from Home Depot. I love this stuff right here. And you can put this in a container and put some hot water on it and just watch it just expand. And within a few minutes, it's already broken down. And one of the easiest ways I found to break this down is to turn it sideways, because this core is layered. So once that hot water hits it, it expands like an accordion. It opens out. And if you have on gloves, you can very easily just start fluffing it and fluffing it and fluffing it until you can get as much as you want. And there will be some pieces in there that may not break down completely because it didn't absorb a lot of the hot water. That's okay. Just pull those out and put those to the side and use what you have. and you'll have enough, most definitely, to help with the seed starting. Now, I like doing that because I can let it cool off so that it'll be warm enough that when I put my seeds in there, it'll help my seeds germinate faster if they need to be at a certain temperature. So that's a wonderful thing. So this is basically my seed starting mix, and you can see just how fluffy it is. It's very fluffy, and it's really feels good to the touch. It's not wet, so it's very important that when you get ready to put your soil into your containers, that you moisten those containers so that when you put the seeds in, they can have good contact with the soil, and it'll help those seeds to germinate. Also, there's other ways that you can get your seeds to germinate. You can actually use what we call a heat mat. So this is a heat mat. They don't get very hot. You can put them on the counter. I've had mine on my counter before when I wanted to start some seeds like in the middle of the summer, and I didn't want to come downstairs and use all of this production down here. I could just take this upstairs and just plug it in. Has a nice size cord to it, and then you can put your plants in your seeds in your containers, excuse me, and then turn this on or plug it in. There's no switch to turn it up or down. It's just one particular temperature, and you put the top on it. And within about, depending on the type of seeds you have, the seeds will germinate between maybe 3 to 5 days, depending on, as I said, the seed. But this is something else that you can have to help to accelerate your germination of your seed. This is my grow tent. It is a 2x4. It is also by Vivasan. I use this to start my seeds. I put smaller plants in here if I need them to get more sunlight, or if I run out of space. This is wonderful to have. You can bring a plant in from the outside that you're growing during the summertime that can't stand the cool. You can bring it in and put it into this grow tent, and you can continue to grow it and get produce off of it for the rest of the winter. So these are just some options that you can use when you want to start your seeds. And just to kind of give you an idea, this is pretty much my grow space. I have all these racks. I have Pro Mix here. I will use this as part of my seed starting mix as well as my transplant mix when I get ready to pot my plants and stuff up. I have the styrofoam bars here because they help to elevate my trays when I want them to get close to the light. And it's very important that your plants are at least 2 inches from the light so that it won't allow them to be leggy. These I use to help elevate that. And as the plants grow, I take them down. We're back, but we're back upstairs because I wanted to tell you how I determine the plants that I'm going to start downstairs. And I have a guideline, a spring starting guideline that I got from Joyful Farmer. And it allows you to put in your last frost date, and it tells you the dates that you should start seeding your plants indoors before you're able to transplant them outside. And this is what I have been using to make sure that I get all of the veggies that I want planted on time. So now that I've determined how I'm going to plant them, well, what am I going to plant? This year, I'm going to focus more on determinate tomatoes, and those are the kinds that only grow a certain height, and then they will produce quite a bit of tomatoes. There's less maintenance for me. I don't have to worry about staking, and they're constantly growing. I'm going to try to grow me more cucumbers this year because I had a lot of issues with cucumber beetles, and they just destroyed my plants last year. So I'm trying to figure out other ways to grow more cucumbers. I do plan on having green beans, but they will be bush beans. The last time I grew vine beans, they were all over the place, and I just did not want to do that anymore. I do have asparagus that is planted in the ground. That is a perennial. I planted some new spears this year, and hopefully I will have some coming up probably around about March or April. If not, they will most definitely be up next year, and they will last for years and years. They'll be here long after I'm gone. So that is something most important and most definitely you want to put in your garden is asparagus. I also want to do more eggplant and flowers. I'm getting more into the medicinal flowers like the valerian and the mullein, those types of things. So I'm learning more about those things so that I can put those in the garden as well. I do want to expand my garden because I want to grow some garlic through the summer to see how well that works. I want to experiment by putting it in the refrigerator for a certain amount of time and then taking it out and planting it in the garden and let it grow through the summertime to see if there's any difference between me just putting it out during the winter, in October or November, and then allowing for it to come up in the spring. So that's what I mean by experimenting, just trying different ways to see if you're going to get a better crop out of the same type of veggie that you're growing. Most definitely have more herbs. I do have several trees in the backyard. I have a peach tree, pear tree. I have an apple tree, an Asian pear tree, blackberries, blueberries. I have strawberries, raspberries, and I just planted a pomegranate tree last year along with the muscadine vine. So I'm really excited about what they will be able to provide for me in the coming years as well. Most definitely make sure that you have flowers in the garden. They will bring in the pollinators and help to pollinate your flowers on your things that produce like your squash and those types of stuff. So make sure you have a lot of flowers in the garden. So I wanted to be able to take this time and just give you an introduction on what was going on in my garden and how I wanted to be able to help others. I hope you like this video. So please like and share with your friends. And I hope you come back because I have more great things that we're going to talk about. But until then, bye.